Having Kate Middleton wear your dress for her engagement interview would be fashion gold for most designers. But for Daniela Halale it was the beginning of the end. Here, for the first time, she opens up to Katie Nicholl about the rise and dramatic demise of her A-list label Issa. The story of Issa, the label that was catapulted into a global brand and championed by the A-list, and then, as quickly as it rose, was left in tatters, is something of fashion legend. Which is why the return of Issa's flamboyant Brazilian-born designer Daniela Halale following an unexpected 2-year hiatus from the industry is the cause of huge excitement. And, having had a sneak preview of her new spring/summer collection which boasts a riot of color, a return of her vibrant prints and the welcome revival of her trademark draped silk jersey dresses, the fashion pack will not be disappointed. Tila, a play on Daniela's name, combines the best of the designer's signature style and, just like her original label Issa, the clothes are cut to suit and flatter. I began designing to make women feel gorgeous. This was my philosophy when I launched Issa, and it's my philosophy now, says Daniela, who floats around her Chelsea townhouse in a vintage Issa kaftan despite the plunging temperatures outside. I have boobs and curves and, like many women, the dresses I found in shops generally didn't fit very well. I started designing to make clothes that made women feel sexy and confident, clothes that could move seamlessly from daywear to evening, that looked great and that lasted. It's been a while since we've heard from Daniela, who has been uncharacteristically low profile in the past few years. Once ubiquitous on the social scene, the popular and effusive designer has been hard at work launching Tila after the sudden and very public demise of her hugely successful fashion house Issa. Back in 2011, Daniela sold 51% of her company to her close friend Camilla Al Fayed, daughter of Egyptian business magnate Mohammed Al Fayed. There were high hopes for the affiliation, but the partnership ended in disaster with a friendship lost and a business left in tatters. It is only now, 3 years on, that Daniela can openly talk about what went wrong at Issa and her pain at watching the business she had spent a decade building disintegrate. I realize I was very lucky with Issa and try to remember the good times, she says as her Maltese terriers Snowball and Monster settle at her feet. It was a huge success for many years and I'd worked incredibly hard building it up. The clothes were beautiful and I was very lucky to have a strong following. Madonna had a wardrobe full of Issa and would send her assistants over to buy armfuls of clothes. She would send her stylist and her fashionist, too. She was very loyal and told everyone about my label. Scarlett Johansson discovered Issa while she was working over here and Jennifer Lopez fell in love with Issa when she was pregnant and I made a sequined cape dress in gold, silver and black for one of her tours. My only regret was not making one for myself. Keira Knightley and Jennifer Hudson were also fans. There was a time when everyone was wearing Issa. It was wonderful, says Daniela nostalgically. Affordable enough for many women to have at least one Issa dress in their closet, the label's iconic silk jersey wrap dress became an international staple, with Issa being sold in 43 countries. At its peak, the fashion house was worth around £27 million. It wasn't just Hollywood stars, however, who couldn't get enough of Daniela's designs. The then Kate Middleton owned the lucky dress in every color. At the time, Daniela, who trained at the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York and had spent a decade in the US working as a fashion buyer, was in her late 30s and running a studio in West London, staffed with a team of 25 and 3 pattern cutters. I always wanted to be a designer, she recalls. As a little girl I loved to make paper dolls and design clothes for them. I started designing when I moved to London in June 2000. I became very creative and obsessed with prints. I knew early on that print would become my signature. 3 years later, Daniela staged her first fashion show at the restaurant Sketch in London's Mayfair. Jasmine Guinness was on the catwalk and loved the dress she was wearing so much that she wore it to the Alexander McQueen after-show party. That was a defining moment and we called the dress the Jasmine. Models Liberty Ross and Jodie Kidd also walked at Issa's debut show and Daniela was the first designer to put Suki Waterhouse and Lady Mary Charteris on the runway. I wanted young, upcoming kids wearing my clothes. I put Alice and Charlotte Dalal on the catwalk and Suki Waterhouse used to do my lookbooks. Those were Issa's best years and they were great fun. We worked hard and partied hard, she recalls. Thanks largely to its celebrity following, Issa's sales had swelled from £500,000 in 2004 to £5.6 million in just 2 years. Retailing at around £385, the Issa draped silk jersey dress was the label's bestseller. The dresses were colorful and easy to wear. 95% of my sales were printed jersey dresses, says Daniela. For all the A-list fans it was, however, Kate Middleton who transformed the brand overnight when she chose a blue wrap dress for her engagement announcement interview in 2010. Only the previous year the label was on the verge of financial crisis. It wasn't all rose-tinted glasses, says Daniela. Issa was a niche brand, we had a loyal following, but in 2008 and 2009 we were in serious financial trouble, she concedes. When Kate wore that dress everything changed. It was shortly after 11 a.m. on November 16, 2010 when Kensington Palace announced the engagement of Prince William to Kate Middleton. When Kate appeared in front of the TV cameras for her very first interview wearing a blue Issa frock, the fashion house experienced a tsunami of global interest. The dress didn't have a name, it was just the DJ157, I know all my dresses by their style numbers, says Daniela. I had no idea Kate was going to wear it. She occasionally came to the studio, but she also shopped at Fenwick and I think that is where she bought the blue dress. That morning I'd gone to yoga as usual, and then I got a call from a friend telling me about the royal engagement. It was all very exciting. We didn't have a TV at the studio and this was pre-Instagram, but we soon knew Kate was wearing Issa because at 4 o'clock the phones began ringing and didn't stop. It was bonkers. The dress sold out within 5 minutes and was reordered countless times. Adds Daniela, it has always been my best-selling dress. I sold 1,110 of them in one order to Neiman Marcus in New York. It was the original Issa dress, based on a design my grandmother, who was a couturier, used to wear. While Daniela won't discuss her relationship with the Duchess of Cambridge, she recognizes how lucky Issa was to count her as a fan. Kate wore Issa for many years. She was a wonderful client and the clothes looked great on her. Ironically, Issa's demise was largely down to what has become known in the industry as the Kate effect. From the day of the royal engagement our sales doubled. I didn't have the money to finance production on that scale. The bank refused to give me credit and the factory was screaming for me to pay its bills. I needed an investor. It was timely, then, that Camilla Alfade came to the label's rescue offering to buy a 51% stake in Indiana the business. I needed to sell in order to finance the company's growth and I had no option but to find an investor. I have known Camilla since she was 19 and it seemed like a great opportunity. The Alfades had just sold Harrods and Camilla knew a great deal about fashion and retail. It felt like the perfect marriage. In July 2011 the pair announced that they were going into business together. In the beginning it was good. Camilla was very organized, says Daniela. However, in 2012 a new CEO was hired and things started moving in a different direction, which didn't work for me. It's clearly still painful for her to talk about the collapse of Issa. She finally quit as creative director in May 2013 and was replaced by designer Blue Ferrier, but the business closed 2 years later. I left because I couldn't take any more, says Daniela. I felt so stressed that my hair went white and started falling out. I was broken by the end of it. I had a great business, which I'd built up on my own over a decade. To watch it evaporate was heartbreaking. I took 2 years out and didn't design a thing. It was too painful. I don't think people realize how much I suffered, but I have always believed that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I did a lot of yoga, I traveled to Los Angeles and Asia, and went back to see my family in Brazil. It was while she was in Japan that Daniela finally found her mojo and started designing again. I went to see one of my Japanese distributors in June last year and they said, "We want you to do a new line." At last I felt I could create and design again. It was wonderful, very liberating, she says, beaming. Tila came soon afterwards. I called it Tila because it's a play on my name and it also means hers in Portuguese, which I love as the brand is a real incarnation of me and my work. While the clothes are made in China, Daniela designed the collection at home with the help of 2 trusted pattern cutters. There are 80 pieces in Tila's Spring/Summer collection and 100 for Autumn/Winter 2017. It was a lot of clothes to make, but it felt like a healing process, says Daniela. There are hints of Issa in my new label, but updated and matured. Jersey will always figure in my collections, although recently I've become very interested in knitwear. I'm really pleased with the first collection. Going back to doing what I love has been a wonderful experience and I've realized how much I had missed designing. Sure enough, the mood boards dotted around her atelier are covered in vibrant, colorful prints and eye-catching designs. There are also pictures of celebrities in Tila gowns, including singer Ellie Goulding, who wore a stunning gold dress to a recent charity gala. It went down very well, says Daniela. Ellie looked amazing. So far, so good, it seems, and hopes are high for Tila. Harvey Nichols has batch-ordered the new collection to arrive in store this month and it is also available online through dhela.com. I wonder if Daniela, who seems to exude confidence, is ever so slightly nervous about Tila's launch? Designing is what I do, it's what I love, and I'm just so happy to be back. And you can tell that she really is.